Good morning, folks, and welcome to the first day of spring. And we have a snowstorm here in Minnesota. I don't know how much snow we're expected to get, but it doesn't really make me feel very spring-like. I don't know about you all. Let me know where you're watching me from today, because I know that not everyone who likes my page is in Minnesota. So maybe it's beautiful where you are, and maybe it really is starting to feel like spring, unlike here. But let me introduce myself really quick. I'm Jenn Espinosa-Goswami, and I am a health coach and motivational speaker over at Be Weightless. Be Weightless is my Facebook page, so if you have not liked me, make sure you do so, because I'll like you back, and I'll say hi back, and I'll shout out to you and all that business. But I also have a website where I have lots of free articles and resources that you can use, and that is Weightless Chronicles. Not weight loss, weightlesschronicles.com. So if you want to check me out, please do so. You may find something that's worthwhile to you and useful to you. So today I wanted to talk about one thing that scares you, because this is something I almost never talk about. And there are a couple of things that are coming up for me personally that scare me. So I thought I would share that, and I thought I would share why it's important for you to do something that scares you, regardless of what scale of fear and fright you have around that. We'll get into that briefly. But before that, happy Tuesday, happy snowstorm, happy first day of spring. Feel free to share below this video what it is that you're looking forward to in spring. That was one of the questions in my Fit for Mom group. So I work out with Fit for Mom Twin Cities, which is the franchise involved with the Stroller Strides, which is a nationwide franchise. But they also do body back transformation and body back, which I'm in the body back realm because my kids are not little and I don't have any strollers. I don't have any need for that anymore. But one of the questions, we have a question every day or something to focus on or dwell on. And today's question was, what are you looking forward to in spring? And the thing that I'm looking forward to that I shared this morning, and I will shortly share with you, is something that actually scares me a little bit. And here's why that's good. First of all, why does something scare you? We're gonna just go a little deep into this. And why do things scare us in general? Maybe it scares you because it takes you out of your sense of security. So it could be financial. Maybe it's a serious investment that you're not quite sure whether you can meet the minimum requirements of that investment. So that can be scary because it's taking you out of financial security. Another thing, it might take you out of your security in terms of your family situation, your career situation. One thing that's very scary for a lot of people is losing their job, or being downsized, or being transitioned to a different role where maybe that's not their strength, but that's something that the company placed them into. Those things are very scary because it changes their feeling of security. Security is a very important part of living, because if you don't feel secure, you're not going to keep challenging yourself. You're going to feel like, oh my God, I don't even know what's going to go on, and I don't have the peace of mind to be able to challenge myself because I'm already challenged by my external environment. So that's one reason why doing certain things scare us, is because it takes us out of our security zone. And you may have heard this a lot. It's also known as a comfort zone. That's a little bit different than security. So I'm a psychology nerd, even though I didn't major in psychology in school. I thought I was going to. So I took a lot of those, Psych 101 courses, and you always talk about Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I don't know why I can't say that. If you've heard of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, please give me a thumbs up or a like or a smile or something, because I know it's a concept that gets bounced around a lot. But basically, the hierarchy of needs is a pyramid. So at the bottom of that pyramid is the basic needs we have to feel secure and to feel stable and to feel like we can live the lives the way that we want to live our lives. So at the very base of that pyramid of the hierarchy of needs is very basic physical needs, like getting enough food, getting enough water, getting enough exercise, our basic physical needs, being able to get through your day, moving the way you want to, that sort of thing. Now, I specialize in physical because I'm a health coach. I help you figure out how to make your physical goals tangible reality for you. So if that's something that's intriguing to you, or you're not comfortable where you are physically, then let's have a conversation, because that's my specialty. I've done it for myself, and I've helped my clients do it as well. But as you go up the pyramid of the hierarchy of needs from Maslow, at the very top of it, the very point out here is self-actualization. And the idea is you have to walk through the entire hierarchy of that pyramid before you can start focusing on things like self-actualization. So when we're talking about something we're afraid of, it means the base of that pyramid of the hierarchy of needs is not being met, then absolutely we're not going to go for something that scares us and is fearful to us. And we might have more fears than someone who's higher up on the pyramid of needs. So not to get too technical on all of you, but that's one reason why we might have fear around something, is because our physical needs and our basic baseline needs are not being met. We don't have the space and time and energy and emotional capacity to deal with something that scares us. Now, what if you're somewhere in the middle of the pyramid where maybe your physical needs are being met, but maybe you have other needs that are not being met, like relationship needs, emotional needs, something that can be scary to get beyond that. As our bodies adjust to what we're doing, our habits become ingrained. I think Charles Duhigg, the guy who wrote The Power of Habit, I think he said that up to 80 or 90% of our habits of our day-to-day life are habitual. They're habits. They're things we don't think about. And when you're going through your day and there are things you don't think about, then why would you think about changing it? Because you're not thinking about it in any sense, whether it's in a reflective way or whether it's in a self-actualization way. Because most of what we do on a daily basis is habit. For example, if you're driving your kids to school, or you're driving to work in the morning, you're driving to somewhere that you drive to every day, how focused are you on what you were doing? Sometimes I have driven somewhere and didn't realize how I got there, or when I arrived there, I'm like, wow, I don't remember getting here. Because it's a habit. It's ingrained in my daily life, and anything that shakes that up can be scary, right? It can be something that's very uncomfortable, because my brain has to adjust to that new path that I'm taking, and my brain has to start saying, oh shoot, this is not a habit anymore. This is not the familiar. This is not something that I already know how to do. It's something I have to start activating myself and doing something. I have to think about this. I have to get involved in this. And that can be scary for a lot of people. You might see this too if you've been in a relationship for a long period of time. There are certain things you tend to do, right, when you're in a partnership, and maybe those things are not very interesting or motivating to you anymore, but it's your habit, right? Maybe even sometimes you fall into the same habits even though you know you don't like them and you know they don't serve you or your partner. That's just normal. Right, because most of our life is habit. Most of our life is the patterns that we've established and that we keep falling into those same grooves. It's like a tire track, right? Once the track has been created on the street or in the snow or what have you, we keep falling in the same tracks because it's comfortable, it's knowable. I just made up a word. It's knowable, something that we know. It's familiar to us. It's safer because someone has already traveled that path and it's not dangerous anymore. So, there are many reasons why we could be stuck, and that may be because of our own habits and because our bodies and our life has adjusted to what our normal patterns are. Why else do we fear things? Maybe because it's something we've never done before. Again, that kind of ties into the same concept of, following the same habits and the same patterns. But maybe it's something that you never thought was possible for you. And that's a whole nother discussion. Usually when people think of things that they're afraid of, it'll be, oh, I'm afraid to bungee jump or to jump off a building, or I'm afraid to eat a squirming octopus. I mean, I'm just coming up with random things. Who knows? Who knows what your fears are? And by the way, if you'd love to share your fears, like one thing, just one thing that you're afraid of. And it doesn't have to be on a huge scale. Maybe you're afraid to ask for something. Maybe you're afraid to change something that's not serving you, but you just don't know how to have that conversation. Maybe you're afraid to have a conversation. Maybe you're afraid to try something different, either because you tried it before and it didn't work, or because it's something you've never tried before. Share with me below this video, even if you're watching the replay. By the way, say hi if you're watching the replay. I respond to every comment. And tell me one thing that you are afraid of. Now, the thing that's hitting me is things that I've never done before, and I have no reasonable expectation that I can do them. Hi, thanks for joining us. Make sure you say hi. We're talking about things that you're afraid of and why it's important to break past that. So there are a number of reasons why we're afraid of things. And for me, what's coming up lately in my personal experiences are things that I've never done before, and I have no reason to believe that I'm going to be good at them, right? Because I hate looking like a fool. And give me a like or a heart or what have you underneath this video if you agree with me. Like if you hate the thought of looking like a fool, like maybe you're a person who dreams a lot about being naked in your classroom or being naked in front of a bunch of people, and that's super embarrassing for you. I don't like to look like a fool. So how is this coming up for me, and how am I pushing past this fear? Well, so my daughter is in dance, my younger daughter, and every spring there's an opportunity for moms to get involved in their own version of a dance. We call it the Momsters, and this year I'm going to sign up to be a Momster. Now, this is really funny for me because I love dance. I've always loved dance. If you haven't read any of my articles or followed me for any time, you wouldn't know this, but dance was the thing that helped me lose 100 pounds. Because when I was morbidly obese, running was not an option for me. Doing HIIT workouts was probably not safe for me because it wasn't a good beginner spot to start. But for me, dance was amazing because it's really hard to injure yourself while you're dancing, especially if you're dancing in your living room, which I was. So it's hard to injure yourself, and it's a full body kind of exercise. So it activates all of your muscles. So for that reason, it was perfect for me, and it was fun, and it was to music, and I love music, especially Latin music. I just love it. I love the beats. So this opportunity came up to dance for my daughter's group, and the spring show happens in May, so that's barely a month and a half away. The class for the Momsters, and the moms range in age from, I don't know, like early 30s to like mid 40s, something like that. So, you know, we could potentially be those moms who are past our prime, whatever you consider prime to be. It could be the moms who are way past the clubbing days when dancing every night was a thing, or dancing every weekend was a thing. And many of us have had our daughters in dance for years. So we see our daughters dance all the time. We see our daughters perform in front of hundreds of people in the high school for the spring show every year. But this is kind of nerve-wracking for me because even though I love dance, and I've done every form of dance, from belly dance to Latin to Zumba to everything. I've literally done every kind of dance form in the privacy of my home. Now, I'm going to sign up for this class. I'm going to become a Momster, and I'm going to have about 5 weeks to learn a choreographed dance with a group of other dance moms and perform it in front of hundreds of people in May. That's very nerve-wracking to me. That's taking me out of my comfort zone. I've never done it before. I've done dance. I'm very comfortable with dance. I know I'm going to rock the dance, but I've never done it in front of a huge audience. And another thing that comes up for me, so even though I'm a health coach and I'm very confident in myself, I am most likely on the higher end of the body size of the moms who will be joining this class. And that doesn't necessarily impact me in the sense of I'm not going to look good. It's not that. It's more like I will stand out in the video because they record these things. I'm going to stand out in the video. It's going to be very apparent who I am, which could be good or bad, but to me that's putting a spotlight on me, and I've never been the kind of person who wants the spotlight. I know that sounds really ironic, right? Because I do these videos and I'm a speaker, but I don't always like the spotlight on me, right? That's uncomfortable for me. So that's one way that I'm kind of getting beyond my comfort zone. It's something I've never done, performing in front of hundreds of people, and it's something that's changing my current status quo, which is I work out with a small handful of moms 3 times a week. But we do HIIT workouts, which are high intensity interval training. We do resistance bands. We do very focused kinds of athletic types of exercise. We're not doing choreographed, graceful, to music kinds of things. So it's taking me out of my comfort zone in more than one way. And this is good because my body is used to these high intensity training I'm doing. My body has been doing it for a while. It's like, okay, now it's time to move on to the next thing. And this is my way of doing it in a bigger way. So I'd like to know from you, what is something that scares you that you can do in a bigger way so that it challenges you? Sure, you can do a little taste of it, and this is something I'm guilty of, where I do just a little sample of it or a little taste of it, but I don't fully commit. And I have a coach who called me out on this. She's like, yeah, you were kind of wishy-washy about this. And I got really offended. I'm like, excuse me? I always go 110% when I commit to something. So it made me a little offended, but it also made me reflect. And that's another thing that's taking me beyond my comfort zone. She challenged me. She made me think a different way. And she did it in a way that made me feel kind of offensive. I get offended very easily, but not offensive to the point where I didn't want to work with her. Actually, it encouraged me to start working with her. So another thing that's taking me beyond my comfort zone, because it's something I've been avoiding for a long time. That's another thing, another reason we might fear certain things is because it's something you've been avoiding. Whether it's something that you want to do or something you've been avoiding because you're not sure you can do it. This weekend, I signed up for a scar photography session with a wonderful woman named Andrea Bowie. And she's a photographer amongst other businesses that she also does, but she specializes in bringing out the beauty in anyone. So some of her models are everyday women, have a little extra flesh, have a little extra scars, have a little extra whatever, and have never celebrated their bodies. So she helps them celebrate their bodies through a photography session. So she'll do boudoir, she'll do some other things. But this time she's posted a couple of things. I'm like, that sounds fun. Nah. But this time she posted a session that's going to happen this weekend. So I've already committed. I'm in to win it, right? I'm going to do it, even though it scares me, because she's going to focus all on scars. Why is this important? It's important because I've been avoiding my scars. I like my scars, but I like them privately and quietly. I haven't liked them publicly. I haven't shown them publicly. I still don't do that. And I'm not out loud about it. And I'm like, I need to get more out loud about it. Is there something in your life that you need to get more out loud about that some people who even know you really well don't know about you because you're not out loud? You're very quietly and privately, addressing it yourself. What would change for you if you put it out there? If you were out loud about things that you are passionate about? Would that change something for you? Hi, thanks for joining us. Make sure to say hi in the comments. So this woman that I'm working with this weekend, she's going to take pictures of my scars. Now, I have a couple of scars. I had my gallbladder removed when I was 17. That's a whole nother story for a whole nother day. I also had back surgery, lower back surgery, so I've got a decent scar on my back. That's why I'm seeing a chiropractor, because I think that caused some progressive damage. But that's not the scar I want to highlight. The scar I want to highlight are my stretch marks. I had stretch marks before I reached junior high school because I was morbidly obese as a kid. And the most stretch marks I have are probably my arms. And it has been something I've avoided for a long time because I hide my arms. No matter how hot the summertime gets, or how many times I go to the beach, or how much I'm in a swimming pool. Maybe not a swimming pool because it's really hard to hide your arms in a swimming pool. I don't wear t-shirts in the swimming pool. But I have always hid my arms. I have always covered my arms with sleeves. I have always been very conscious of no backless, strapless, over the shoulder, those sorts of things, because my arms are covered in stretch marks. And luckily, when I lost the weight, and they faded over time. So initially, when I first got them as a kid, they were bright red, like angry red. And now they're not bright red. Now they're like a silver color, and they kind of blend in with my skin color. They still stand out. They're still there. So I'm going to celebrate them and glorify them, if you will, through this photography session. And I think this will be a good mental shift for me because I've never celebrated them. Again, I'm privately proud of them because it shows who I used to be. And I'm not that person anymore. But I think I should celebrate that because I made a serious transformation in my life, in my physicality, and I want to celebrate that. And I didn't really, I mean, I share my story all the time with my audiences, but I don't really celebrate it for myself. And I think this is a good place for me to be. So I'd like to ask you, this is a really long live, by the way. Thank you for staying with me if you're still watching me. What is one thing in your life that you need to celebrate out loud? And it's something that you don't talk to a lot of people about. It's something that may make you feel a little uncomfortable. Like, I'm a little uncomfortable at the thought of highlighting my stretch marks. Even knowing that a lot of people my age, I'm almost 40, have stretch marks. Most of them have stretch marks through pregnancy. That's actually the least of my stretch marks. But it's more of the sense of, it's something I've always been hiding, and it's time to not hide anymore. It's time to get out there. It's time to be gloriously me, whatever that looks like, whatever that means in its entirety. You know, I'm fortunate because I can share what I want to share, but I'm thinking that I need to start sharing things that I don't want to share. And this is what this live represents today for me. What does it represent for you? What is something that you don't want to share for whatever reason? Maybe you're scared. Maybe you feel like people are going to judge you. Maybe you feel like you just never shared it before and you're not quite sure of the reaction you're going to get. I feel you. I'm there with you. I'm sharing things with you that kind of scare me a little bit and also motivate me, because I like to shake things up. And that's what I do for folks as a health coach. So if you're kind of scared at the possibility of working with a health coach, because this has come up for me with people when I have conversations. Excuse me. Some people are scared to work with me. Not because I'm a scary person. I'm totally not a scary person. I'm very supportive. But they're scared of what they can accomplish or what they cannot accomplish. And that's a conversation we need to have offline, because there's a lot you're able to accomplish if you're willing to meet yourself halfway. If you're not willing to meet yourself halfway, then you won't get there. And that's the block that a lot of women have when I have a conversation with them, is they're scared. And it's okay to be scared. I won't ever judge you for what your fears are. I mean, I'm sharing some of my fears and I'm putting myself out there. Do you want to put yourself out there? Or maybe you don't want to, but you suspect that you need to. That's a whole nother different feeling. I would love to connect with you for a free phone call. I call it a weight loss breakthrough session. Not every work I do with a client involves weight loss. Sometimes it's habits, like certain habits that you have on a daily basis that are no longer serving you. I can have a conversation with you about how to replace those habits with better habits. Something I specialize in, something I do all the time with clients, something that energizes me, actually. But, you know, let's have a conversation. Maybe you're scared to have a conversation with me because you're afraid of what I might say. You're afraid I might judge you. You're afraid I might be like, oh, really? I have no thought like that in my head whatsoever. I have literally watched friends break up in front of me, like have lifelong friendships that exploded in front of me, and I'm still friends with both of them because I don't judge anyone. That's not my place. It's not my place to judge anyone. I have certain fears which you may or may not have, and you have certain fears which I may or may not have, but it's neither of our place to determine whether that's good or bad. I don't put values on your fears because it's impossible. It's stupid. Why would I do such a thing? But I encourage you, if you've watched this video and you're like, I'm kind of scared to connect with Jen on a phone call, but it might be right for me. Listen to your gut. Your gut will lead you the right way. If it's not the right time for you, I totally get you. You know, still watch these videos, still get value out of these videos. But if it is the right time for you, let's have that conversation now. Before you change your mind, before you decide that you're too afraid to do it, before you decide that you're not worthy or you can't do it, you don't know until you try. Let's have a phone conversation completely free, 30 minutes. I'm opening up my calendar for the next 2 weeks because I just want to hear from you. I want to know what it is you're dealing with right now. I want to know what your struggles are. I want to know what your fears are. But most importantly, I want to help you explore what your dreams are because I want to help you reach those dreams one day at a time. This is Jenn Espinosa-Goswami coming to you live from Be Weightless. We'll talk soon. I'll put the link below this video where you can book a phone call with me. Totally no pressure, no obligation. It's calorie free, and we'll get to the bottom of what your struggle is. I promise you. We'll talk soon. All right, take care.